Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of the Reframe What's Possible podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about spirituality and metaphysics, mindset, Reframe What's Possible podcast, and exploring limitless possibilities. We are today talking about what happens when we allow ourselves to expand our consciousness. And I am joined by Akeyta Aurora. Akeyta is a magical woman of many talents. To try and reduce what she does down to one label is impossible. And we're all about limitless possibilities. However, Akeyta is the founder of Your Energy is Your Medicine. She is an intuitive energy healer and balancer. But ultimately, if we had to reduce it down to one thing, we would say that she is an explorer of consciousness. Today's topic will be about what happens when you allow yourself to be guided by synchronicity and when you choose to embark on the path of your heart and a journey back to authenticity. Akeyta, thank you so much for being here. It's such a blessing for us all. So let's kick off then by kind of exploring the idea or asking ourselves, what is the difference between synchronicity and coincidence?
Well, for me, I think before I figured out what synchronicity was, I experienced a lot of coincidences. So I think coincidence is those unexplained but very connected events, you know? And then as you start to see the world a little bit different, you make that connection and realize that, oh, it's not just a coincidence. You actually start saying there's no such thing as a coincidence. It's all just synchronicity, because that missing, that invisible, that unknown, you link with that, and then you realize, oh no, this isn't just a coincidence. This is synchronicity. What's that? Spirit is involved in that. So I think as we become more acclimated to the spiritual world, in our spiritual path, our spiritual journey, our spiritual awakenings, those coincidences become synchronicities, because you realize, oh, spirit is involved in this. This is not just some two events happening that seem very connected but are unconnected. No, spirit is playing a big role in this. This is synchronicity. This is the universe talking to me. I'm connected with all of it and everything that's around me. So I think that that's the difference right there, when you actually make that connection, that spirit is involved in all of it.
So what happened when, what happened, kind of, when did you start to experience mystical experiences? What happened when, how did your consciousness begin to awaken? And then you start to realize, okay, I'm having mystical experiences.
Oh, I don't, to be honest, I don't know when it started. I mean, I think it always is happening. And I think that's the power of synchronicity, that it is actually always happening around you. It's just that we don't make that connection. So because we're at this 9 feather moment, I'll just start with that, the 9 feather moment where I can now look back and say, "Ooh, this isn't when the synchronicity started, but this was a big cycle of my life, and it was um 12 years ago or 13 years ago." um oh, actually, sorry, 9 years ago, exactly 9 years ago, that I had an accident, and a car accident. And I don't like to call it a car accident. I like to call it an incident, because it was this great big moment that changed my life. And it put me in a whole different direction. Um, and I'm still going in that direction. So I don't know if direction is the right word. It put me in a different set of consciousness, in a different dimension. Yeah, that's the right word. It allowed me to walk into a different dimension, because then I started to look at the world differently. And even though the incident happened, and that was a part of a physicality where I call it my be still moment, because as soon as I opened my eyes in the hospital the next day, I couldn't move, and I was still. I couldn't walk for months, for 4 months. Had to relearn how to walk, broken bones, 2 surgeries, all of that. So I was in this be still moment, and I just had to contemplate, and so many things started to happen around me. Different people started to come in and even speak to me. Even in that moment, there were so many synchronicities. People would come in and literally tell me I had a gift, people that I didn't know. Now that's actually coming back to me now. And they were just bringing me these messages. These strangers would come to me and bring me these messages. And my mom actually asked them, because it kept on happening, why you guys keep on coming to her? And they said, we never choose who we come to, we're just guided to bring the message to people. So even in that moment, I was put there for the connection, for the deliverance of the messages, to continue to push in to guide me. But it was a be still moment. I was still, and I just had to really listen to what the universe, God, spirit wanted me to experience and transform into from that point. And I think from there, I paid more attention. And I think, like, where we are now, 2021, this new earth, this new everything that we're experiencing, the key part of it is being aware. And that is the foundation of synchronicity. That is the foundation of um, understanding the synchronistic signs that are happening around us. We have to be aware, because they're always happening, but if you're not paying attention, you don't understand that language. It's almost like 6 channels are on, but you're only looking at one, so you don't even focus on what's going on the other channels. So with the awareness, you actually notice that these other channels are communicating with you, and you start to understand what language that is that they're actually speaking to you with. So the awareness is very important in understanding what these synchronistic signs are actually telling us.
So for me, 2019 was the year that I began to awaken and be connected to the signs. And everything started speaking to me. My clair skills would open up. I would start receiving downloads and hear clairaudient messages, or I would see numbers. Like for me, and I think many others, I don't know if it's the case for you, I think I know it is, you became really aware of how numbers were showing up for you. And for me, I call it the year of the magic carpet, riding the magic carpet, because what I did, I started connecting with all the signs and started taking action on the guidance. So I started kind of responding to the synchronicities and following them, and surrendering the logical mind, and allowing myself to experience really unimaginable magical places and situations. Where, for example, I gave away my house, I gave away all my possessions, and I started traveling and following with no money and just receiving, okay, this is the house, or this, go and speak to that person, and things would just appear.
Yeah.
How does, I know we share the thing about feathers as well. So again,
Yeah.
feathers were
the feathers, yeah.
So how does synchronicity?
The feathers come in?
Yeah, and feathers. Yeah.
So the feathers, let me see. I think, well, the 9 feathers, I'll say how the 9 feathers came in. And it's such a huge story because it's just huge. So well, I love feathers, let's just say, and feathers would literally just start dropping around me. So I started noticing, hey, I see a lot of feathers, you know? So again, it's not a coincidence. There's something happening here. Why am I seeing feathers everywhere I go? You know, that awareness. So I started seeing feathers everywhere I go. I would drive someplace and I open the door, a feather would be right there. And as the years picked up, these coincidences with feathers would just continue to come in. And then recently, even this year, or most recently, at the end of it, you know, surrounded by my car is 9 feathers. But the whole concept of feathers, because I just started loving feathers, and I just the peacock, I love the peacock, I love birds, you know, just that my mother is Trinidadian, the carnival, the junkanoo, I just love feathers. So having, again, what is your heart love? You know, the heart is such a important teacher, and I'm guided by my heart. And I think that is so important for people to understand it. Well, I can't say it's not logic, because then you have to put it in logic. And you know what? You actually said logic, and that's the thing. It is logic for Jess. For me, it's heart, because of our astrology. I'm a Leo. I'm a lion heart. So the universe is going to speak to me through my heart, and I'm going to have this passionate energy coming through my heart, and that's how I'm gonna express myself. Jess's astrology is different.
No. I mean, it was defying logic. It was going against logic. So if I allowed my intellect to get involved, but what happened? When I awakened, there was a marrying between the heart center and the mind, the heart and the head, and so suddenly I was able to receive in a way that I hadn't done before.
Yes, exactly. Because for me, the Leo, I think a lot of it, and they're always 2 states. Now you see yourself as unawakened, awakened, you know what I mean? So in my unawakened, but because I'm a Leo, everything is passionate and heart, you know, so it's what I love. So I love feathers. It's just, these are things I like. They're pretty. They're, you know, so I keep on seeing these feathers all around. And then I actually start picking feathers up. And feathers just being important. And Native American, the Native American culture, I've always been called into the Native American culture. So I think that has been my my first love of the feathers, coming in with the Native Americans and just watching how they use feathers in dance and in their culture and in their spirituality or whatnot. So I always was acclimated to that culture. So I started to experience feathers through different not religions, but through different spirituality and the significance of them, the spiritual meaning. I always tend to go to the spiritual meaning of a sign or a symbol. So the whole Native American culture, and that culture is speaking to me, not knowing that really was my shamanistic qualities coming out, not discovering shamanism until years later, why the Native American culture was so important to me. Because it was calling me into shamanism, you know. So that whole Native American culture would have been a feather for me, a guide. And then I was listening to, so the feathers of my life became the things that inspired me, the things that guided me, the things that taught me before I even knew I was going to become or was supposed to become what I am becoming, right? Or what I have become.
Yeah.
So the feathers became my teachers and my guides and my inspirations. There were people, there were cultures, there were places, there were books, there were just YouTubers, people that I listened to on YouTube that I just learned so much from and expanded my mind to. I would be outside sometimes and literally a feather would fall from the sky. It happened one day and I just looked up and I saw it and I picked it up. And then you realize, oh my God, the universe is really having a conversation with me. I would be walking to my store and see a feather that was different and be like, oh my God, I have to pick this up. And next to it, a twig, the perfect symbol of 9, with a twig. And it's like, oh, come on, universe. Yeah, I know you're talking to me here. So, but it all leads from your heart. And that's the thing, it's what you're interested in. It's what you just were talking about. It's what you were just thinking about. It's what you were just dreaming about.
Yeah.
And then you see it.
Right.
And then you hear it. And then it shows up. And that's it, because you know that where it started from was this very quiet place, this internal space. It wasn't a conversation that you had on Facebook that said, hey, and you announced it to the world. It was just this little inner voice, this thinking, this heartbeat, and then it shows up in the universe. So the feathers have been that for me, have been that connecting symbol where the invisible world wants to say, hey, we need you to pay attention to this. They have guided me. So it's been real feathers as well as where I started to name things that guided me a feather. So in 2019, I put all of these things under one name, and they were the 9 feathers, which were my 9 influences, my 9 guides, my 9, teachers. Excuse me for one second. Karma. Let's see if I could get my dog named Karma synchronistically to be quiet.
And it's also be a sign,
I think Karma wants to be on the show. Come on. Just say hello to everybody. And it might be the only way I get to keep him quiet while this is going on. So yeah, the 9 feathers became my guides, and I just honored them in a quiet moment with myself. I honored them. And I said, for all of the people, the little people in the world that don't know me and I don't know them, but I just connected with them and they taught me so much and they allowed me to walk the path, this invisible path that I was on, guided by feathers. I'm going to name them 9 feathers. These are the 9 feathers that got me to where I found myself. And 2 weeks ago, I drove up, which made 9 months to the day of 9 years, to the day of my accident. My car was surrounded by 9 feathers. And just as I said, I opened the door and there's a feather there. And because I've been walking this path for a while and I'm now in tune with the synchronicities of life, I actually expected 9 feathers. And I looked around my car and I said, okay, there's 1. And then I looked, it was 2. And then I looked, it was 3. And I said, I bet I'm going to find 9, because I already have in my heart 9 feathers, and knowing what that means to me, I now understand that the universe is speaking to me and communicating with me through signs and symbols. So my expectation now has changed. And in that moment, I expected 9 feathers to be there. And I looked, I seeked, and there were 9 feathers. So it brought me into this very completed moment with synchronicity. And not just that the universe is speaking to us in a language, but the expectation that I have now with the universe is that, universe, I know you hear me when I speak. I know that you're there
Mm.
when my heart beats. And I don't even have to speak it. I can meditate it. It can be silent. It's the silence of my heart. You hear that. My heart and your heart are one. You know, Nine Feathers is close to my heart. So I expect that in this moment you would lay 9 feathers around my car. And the universe did that, so it's this expectation and understanding and connection that I now have with the universe, and that's what the gift of synchronicity allowed me to experience. That we are connected. There's no separation between us and what we're surrounded with.
So basically, what happened is for you, and I think for myself, what happened was you begin noticing that you're having these mystical experiences, and you start to become aware of the signs, the numbers, the animals that are showing up, the dreams that then become deja vu, and all these things, the kind of the inner knowing that comes to you. What then happens when you move from being guided and to actually co-creating? So what kind of experiences have happened for you? I'll give you one example for me. When I became aware of my role in creating synchronicity, I began to I was in the middle of nowhere and I needed a cab, and I called on the angels and I was like, guys, I need a cab because I'm in the middle of nowhere and I was in Malaysia. Please bring to me some form of transport or a cab. And within 30 seconds, this car comes speeding up.
Oh,
And the
wow.
window winds down and the guy goes, do you need an Uber? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Or I was having to cross the Thai border, which no one can do in one day, from Malaysia to Thailand. Got there, they were like, no, I'm sorry. They wouldn't even look at my passport. But then I got outside and I'm fretting. And then I see a white feather drop from the sky. I see numbers and I'm like, okay. And then I just hear like, just be patient. And it all worked out. So it's like, it's these moments where it becomes really magical. So yeah, can you
That's it. What happens? Magic. Like literally, that's what happens, because again, we were taught not to believe in magic when we got older. We were absorbed and submerged in it as children to get our imagination flowing and, our creativity, which was intended. But then we had to get serious. And when we got serious, we had to stop believing in magic. And the thing is, that's what returns that magic. And not just, it's something that one of the things that I post is, the daily mantras. And the other day I didn't post it, but it said I'm going to stop having magical thoughts. And I was like, no, I want to have magical thoughts. But when I listened to something just now before we came on, it talked about the way show is keeping our magical hearts. And I said, that's it. It's to have a heart of magic. Again, we're not thinking, oh, it's just to happen like that. It comes from our heart. And we know that this inner work has to be done. We know that we are magical. That's the difference. It's not that magic doesn't happen. No, you know that, okay, there's a magical portion of me, and the magic is the connection. The magic is the awareness. The magic is the power. The magic is the knowing. The magic is the peace. The magic isn't just, as they taught us, abracadabra. The magic really just is you knowing that when I think of it, when I speak of it, when I act towards it, it's coming to me, so I can now surrender and I don't have to worry about it. The magic is the no more wasted energy. The magic is no more doubts. The magic is the sense of empowerment and a sense of I can do this. The magic is the fear is gone. You know what I'm saying? So they call it magic, but it's not abracadabra magic. It's, I am love. I am a channel of universal light. I am light. I am ready. I am surrendering. I am empowered. I am no longer fearful. That's the magic. The magic is you. You are the magic, so that's what happens.
So, so what
You
we're now,
become
yeah, no, go,
beyond.
yeah.
No,
So,
yeah, you just become beyond what you were.
mm,
And that in itself is the magic of transformation, the
yeah.
magic of just being uninhibited, without alcohol.
So,
Right? Because
what
they say alcohol is the was it the what do they call
lubricant?
it?
I don't know.
The liberator, you know what I mean? So
Mm,
it's like I didn't need to take that drink to feel like superwoman, you know what I mean? I just decided to not be so fearful,
mm,
so that's the magic, so yeah, you feel magical because you see that what you're now intending, you see that appearing,
yes.
and that's what we think the magician does. They just pull things out of the hat, but it's not pulling us anything out of the hat. It's that, hey, I asked for a healthy relationship. I got it because I did that work and I went through that process. I asked for the job. I got it because I did that work and I surrendered and it came. I asked for the help with my new business or the partner, and there it is because I did that work. I surrendered and it showed up. That's the magic, because it's not easy, but there's so much magic in it that you discover, and it's really discovering that, hey, yes, I can do this.
Mm,
We can do this. This is possible. There is nothing that is impossible. And that's the magic. That's the magic there. The impossibility of it and the possibility of everything. That's where the magic comes in.
and I feel that again, in terms of being aware and having this heightened awareness, actually coincides with the increasing of the frequency. So when
Oh
we
yeah.
begin to operate at
Yeah.
a higher frequency, letting
Yeah.
go, it's on a thought level. So we have the mental body where we start to release thoughts of
Yeah.
fear,
The
of
release.
doubt,
Yeah.
of limitation. And we start to reframe what's possible by using those affirmations, clear the
Yes.
subconscious of the old
Yeah.
patterns. And as that's
Yeah.
what the work is like you're talking
Yeah.
about this shadow work, but really what we're
The
talking about
shadow
as well is
work, the inner
clearing,
work, the
purifying.
unreeling,
Mm.
the
And then as
this.
well, letting go of those old emotions
Yeah.
stored in the energy
Yeah.
body that then keep attracting to us
Yeah.
experiences that we need to grow and learn from, or until we become aware that we can actually create our own reality. And that's the interplay between our own consciousness and the synchronicities that start to show up. So, like you
Yes.
just mentioned as well, like in terms of conscious creation, when I'm tuning in to create something, like for example, I'm now tuning in for my business, I see the process unravel and unfold through series of synchronicity and steps. So I might get guided to a specific training that I need to do, or I might get guided
Oh
to
yeah.
a person, like how you and I connected.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so it's sometimes it's not just, oh, here's £1,000,000 or whatever it is that we're asked.
Oh
It's
no.
literally the process, and it will
It's
take us on a journey to it if we're awake and aware. Yeah.
yeah. I think everything's a journey and everything is that process. So being aware sometimes sometimes I have to working with people, and I do it, everybody does it. We don't even know where we are because we don't see where we are. So sometimes even when I'm talking with people and they say, okay, well, this is where I'm at, this is what I want to create, this is what I want. And then they're talking, but and I have to show them, but do you realize that you're not here? You're actually here. So you're not on step 1 of this goal. You're actually on step 5. But what happens a lot is because we are so interested in the outcome, and this is very big, because we're so interested in the outcome and we're so focused on what am I going to receive when I get there, we don't even realize sometimes that we're in this process. So we're walking, hey, I'm trying to get to the store, but because I haven't gotten to the store yet, I feel like a failure. And we do that to ourselves so much. The awareness that I'm walking to the store, and on the way to the store, I got to catch a bus. I might have to get off that bus and go on a train. That train might break down. Then I might have to catch a flight. And knowing that all of these little things are on the journey along the path to you getting to the store, and not thinking that, oh, me getting to the store is not about this. It's supposed to be a smooth ride to the store. No. And that throws us off a lot. So the awareness, the synchronicities, the little things that happen along the way are so important, and they become the clues and the tools and the preparation for literally preparing you for those moments. Where I'm at now, I'm still a work in progress. I went through this whole, again, this 9 feathers journey, which turned out to be 9 months, 9 years, nine cycles of probably eons and eons, right? So where it got me back to was my shamanistic qualities. Now, I could not have found this version without doing the shamanism studies last year, 2020. 2020 was a big eye opener, but all of those 9 feathers that I was experiencing, the YouTubers, my love of astrology, learning Vedic astrology, my love of just sci-fi and the universe, and my love of spirituality, looking into Hinduism and Christianity and African spirituality and whatever type of religion there is. I probably read a book about it, and pull some golden truth out of it for me, so all of these feathers were leading me to shamanism. I got there.
Right.
When I got there, it's like, okay, are you gonna be a shaman now? No. But here's what I discovered. I was already a shaman. I just was relearning something that I forgot.
Beautiful.
And this remembering ourselves and knowing ourselves and putting ourselves back together. Yeah, I forgot that I knew how to do this. I forgot that this was embedded within me.
Yeah.
And getting to that point where I went back into that classroom to retool myself with the gifts that I had, then it opened me back up to be, hey, what do you want to do now? Yeah, and that's where I'm at. And what do I want to do now is my knowledge and my love of crystals. And I'm adding it into my love of astrology and my shamanism and my love of my energy balancing self, and all of the stuff that are my hobbies and the stuff that I love and like. And I get to put them into one beautiful thing, one beautiful package now. But that's where I'm at now. Tomorrow, I might get a sign from the universe that might take me into a whole new arena. And that's fine, because I'm aware, I'm open, I am having a conversation with the universe and trusting that where the universe wants me to go is well intended. I'm supposed to serve there, and I got it.
And it is that, again, it's this paradox. We live in a world of paradox, we are
way beyond,
but the
way
thing
beyond our understanding.
Exactly. And it's like, it's this complicated or this tension of opposites between what we think we're trying to create and what we're actually already agreed to creating, and divine will versus so it all unfolds.
It unfolds, and to allow it to unfold. That's where I'm at now. Remember, I'm not attached to outcome. So I set my intention.
Yes.
I trust that there's a reason why the seed is being planted within me to bring forth. I do what I need to do as guided. And I'm not even going on time. And I mean, I never went on time, but
Right.
really now it's like
Me too.
the time is when I get the communication that the time is,
Yes. And this is when we
not when I think the time is,
exactly ease and
right?
flow.
So
That's
when the
exactly what needs
signs
to
and the
happen.
symbols and the dreams and all of these feathers start falling, I now know it's time. It's not my time just because I said, I'm going to do this day. Because reality, when I was going on that time, and we talk about the matrix and being in the matrix and out the matrix, and this is really what it's about. When you're out the matrix, you're not on your time, you're on the universe's time, and you're in sync with it. So when you're supposed to do that class, you do the class. When
Yeah.
you're supposed to open the business opens. When
Yeah.
you're supposed to meet the person, you meet the person. Not because, well, it's 2020 and I want to do this for the next 3 months or whatnot, you know? And if I don't do it here, then I can't do it because I already have this scheduled and this can't happen. It ain't none of that. It's okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to do what I need to do to prepare for it. And then I'm going to surrender my intention and allow the universe to bring forth to me, to respond to me what I have just put out. It's understanding the universal laws, understanding, oh, cause and effect means I am the original cause. The effect is going to come back to me. So let me be very focused on the cause that I am doing every day, because that effect is going to come back to me. It's the law of resonance, the law of cause and effect, the law of evolution. All of these grander laws come really through you and to you, and you experience them, and you're like, that's what that's about. The bigger picture, not so much the small matrix picture.
Yeah.
So you start experiencing life beyond the matrix, and it's a whole different game. There are whole different rules, and it is a game.
Yeah.
But it's a different game, and they're different rules. It's a game because you have fun.
Yeah.
Even the Matrix game is fun, right?
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah, even the Matrix game is fun, but then it's like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore. Right? So the outside of the Matrix game is fun too, and you want to play it. You want to play more and more of it because you realize, oh wow, this is interesting.
And then for our final kind of wrapping up kind of questions before we leave and end our episode for today, how is the relationship between really getting to know yourself key? How is authenticity key to operating on this frequency?
Say it again, Jess, because it's breaking up just a little bit. Say it again.
How is so how does knowing yourself come into play on this journey?
Well, it's where I began. I was actually supposed to look it up. I can't remember who it is, but for a long time, I actually thought it was in the Bible. And I was having a conversation last year, and I said, "Isn't know thyself in the Bible?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "Well, it should be," because I thought it was. I literally thought that was a biblical thing, like know thyself. How do we walk through this tunnel of life without knowing thyself? We want to be a doctor, we want to be a lawyer, we want to be accountant, we go to school for degrees and to learn all of these things, and at the end of the process, this body you're good, Jess, your body is just like, I don't know this thing. I don't know my body. I don't know nothing. I don't know the vessel that I walk with every day. And then, okay, the body, but then there's so much more than the body. And that's where the energy of you comes in, which is the whole energy medicine and the chakras. So knowing thyself is knowing that I am physical, but I'm also spiritual. There's a part of me that you see, there's a part of me that I don't even see, but I feel. And in that knowing thyself, I think God, the universe intended us to figure out this invisible part, not of just of the universe, but of ourselves. And as we figure out that invisible part of ourselves, because the know thyself is what has guided me. I was seeking God and I was seeking myself. And I tell people all the time, this is what happened.
Yeah.
I it met,
Mhm.
and not that I am God, but I understand myself as a child of God, a conduit of divine energy.
Yeah.
I understand the godliness inside of me, the
Yeah.
God in me, the God that I'm attached to, my I am presence. So I now understand that. And I didn't know that before. So that knowing thyself, I got to find that version of myself that is attached to me that I knew nothing about.
Mhm.
Even the physical body, how much people know about what's going on in our stomach, what's going on in our feet, what's going on in our heart. The body is a universe within itself, different parts, different organs. It's a community coming together in wholeness, community of diverse organs, a hand, a leg, a heart, a spleen, but they have to work together in unity.
Right. That's the key.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So know thyself, the manifested and the unmanifested, the visible and the invisible. Put all of it together, and whew, it's a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, wisdom filled, unlimited, unimaginable world.
Mm. Thank you so much for coming on today to share your story and your wisdom.
Thank you for having me, Jess.
So
Thank you for
magical.
having me.
And thank you to all the
In
viewers.
full synchronicity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And thanking you all for tuning in today on the Reframe What's Possible podcast. This was episode 1 with
Thank
your
you.
host, Jess Shillingford and Akeyta Aurora. Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful, happy Sunday.